Hey guys, it's Dakota, your DM from Roll Advantage. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, that is my bad. But I'm excited to say and finally share with you the unveiling of a document that is near and dear to my heart. It's all of my homebrew compiles that I created myself, called Balasar's Guide to Everything. It is now found at DM's Guild. I'll put the link down below. But it is over 100 pages worth of content that I've created. And right now, as we're recording, it's been up for about 6 days, and I've been meaning to make this video. I've just been so busy with work. But as of right now, it is 4.4 stars on DM's Guild, and it was actually ranked 96th place as most popular on the website within 6 days out of over 6,400 different publications. So that's quite a bit, right? And in addition to that, the actual book, I can't take credit for all of it, honestly. Some of my friends, they've been working on it, and my girlfriend too, my lovely girlfriend, she spent many nights with me actually working on it and annoyed that I wasn't giving her attention, but I am proud to say that it is finally finished. So you might be asking, what's included in this book? If it's 100 pages long, what's included? Well, the first chapter talks about half-breeding. Sorry, I have to keep my eyes on the road. The first chapter talks about half-breeding, and so you might be asking, what's that? This is where you take two races and you make an end product because they reproduce together. So, like the half-elf is a product of a human and an elf, no big deal. But what if you want to play, say, a mountain dwarf that is also bred with a blue dragonborn, right? Well, this guide shows you step for step how to do that. Second chapter is all about the new archetypes that I created. 23 to be exact. There are 2 for every single class, except for the wizard, which only has 1. Some of them really stand out. So my favorite so far is the Diabolist Ranger. There is the monk tradition, or the way of the third eye, the Chaos Wizard, and the Fathom Patron. And in order of me saying that, so the Diabolist Ranger specializes in like exorcising demons and devils and dealing with the supernatural. So taking on like evil specters and wraiths and harmful spirits, and tries to move the good ones like ghosts onto the next plane of existence for their life. The Fathom Patron is all about making a deal or a pact with an underwater creature such as the Kraken. The Chaos Wizard, it is a tradition in the sense that you can be it as a wizard, but it's more of the approach that is you taught yourself magic, not actually like having access to massive libraries for formal training. You're informally trained, you taught yourself. And so when you perform magic, some random stuff can happen. It's similar to the wild sorcerer. And then lastly, what did I say? The monk of the third eye. So this is taking the idea that all matter is created and can be accessed physically by manipulating the world around you. So there's this thing called the Weave of Magic, which we all tap into to perform magic. Well, the way of the third eye knows that everything is physically touching, and so they're going to tear the fabric of reality right there, and they can punch in front of them and hit someone 30 feet away because we're all connected. So that's the theory behind it all. And you can eventually do spells like Misty Step from like where you punch to teleport away, or you can entangle people through your punch when you rip the fabric and hit them. It's very interesting. So 23 archetypes, chapter 2. Chapter 3 is a big one. There's 4 brand new classes, technically 3, because I remade the Artificer that was found in Unearthed Arcana. So the Artificer, there is still the Gunsmith, there's still the Alchemist, but now there is the Construct Crafter, which essentially gives you a robot familiar. Not a big deal, but you can upgrade that familiar and put different things on it, like a harness to ride around on it, and a battering ram to actually siege castles and all that stuff, so not a big deal. After that is the Death Knight, which is essentially a paladin who has fallen in battle, but their oath is so tied to their very essence that they come back in undeath and must complete their goal or reach a final end with their oath. 4 different paths with that. There is the Blood, Disease, Frost, and Unholy. After that is the Magus, which is actually one of my favorite classes I've ever played. It's a soldier on the battlefield that's essentially had formal training to mix in both its martial prowess along with the ability to cast spells. And so when you do this, you're essentially a wizard that has a fighting style. And so you can cast your cantrips through your sword when you hit people. It's actually a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm playing one right now, currently in Tomb of Annihilation, and so is another player. Honestly, one of my favorite characters. And then lastly for that is, the 4 traditions for the Magus. There is the Protection, Distortion, Consuming, and one other. I can't remember at this time, but they essentially mix 2 schools of magic to make one end product. So the Protection Magus, which is what I'm playing, is mixing Abjuration and Evocation magic to protect my allies and then also blow up my foes, so that way they can't damage my allies further. Whereas my friend that's also playing a Magus, they are playing the Consuming. So they are mixing both divination and necromancy together. They're playing it like a detective. So speak with dead and scrying and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. After this class is the Oracle, and there's 4 archetypes with that too. But the Oracle is essentially some kind of wizard sorcerer mixture. They're a full caster. And what they'll do is they'll get their power from the cosmos, where some like cosmic force caused them bodily harm, and so they've got one actual physical issue that they have to deal with, and then they overcome that eventually, and this is their source of magic. So there is the Sightless Seer. So one example is where you were looking through, I don't know, you saw a great explosion like during something, and it affected your eyesight. So you've got limited vision. You can only see like 30 feet. After that, you've got disadvantage on perception checks, but the plus side is that you can't be affected by a frightening presence of creatures. So dragons would be one where you are immune to their fear thing because you can't see them. Your eyesight's all blurry. So there's that. There's the Grave Whisperer. So you find a connection with the dead rather than the humans, like the people that are alive. And so you have difficulty pronunciating. But when you do talk, the dead can hear you really, really well. You don't even have to cast Speak with Dead. There is the Soulless, or the Star Soul, I think, where you were born during such an event like a solar eclipse, and you have no soul, so you can't be resurrected or anything, but you are immune to radiant damage, and I believe necrotic damage too. And then one of my favorites is the Void Mind. So you've gotten PTSD essentially, like you were looking through a telescope and you saw into the far realm. And while you were looking into the far realm, something else saw you too, and its eye blinked at you and it freaked you out and you have PTSD. And so because of that, you're more prone to being like manipulated emotionally, so like charms and fear. But on top of that, that's a great strength of your powers too. So whenever stuff happens to you, like you are charmed or frightened or possessed, or not really possessed, but when you have one of those emotional things going on, you get different powers. So it's really interesting. It's flavorful. One of my friends hates that word, flavorful. It's actually thematic, but that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say flavorful. The next after that, I believe, is backgrounds. So there's 10 different backgrounds that you can choose from, anywhere from like an executioner or a farmer, a diplomat or an ex-cultist, and it'll give you various things. It's a background. It's not a big deal. I wanted to put in a few though. Next after that is feats. There should be roughly 20 new feats, and they're not super outstanding. There's random things. You'll have to take a look at it. After that, I believe, is Warlock invocations. There should be roughly 20 of these invocations. They're not all for just the 2 new patrons that I put in. There are some general ones also, because I know how people will complain if there's not general invocations that are new. So there should be roughly 20. After that, we should be at Chapter 7, which I believe is variant rules, if I'm not mistaken. So variant rules are rules that I had to come up with on the fly or had no answer to when I was DMing. So things like that would be language barriers. So maybe your character doesn't know a certain language that's being said. They can do a history check and try to recall 1 or 2 words that they might have heard like out in the marketplace or something, and maybe know what it means. Or maybe there's resurrection risks. So I've included that from like 2nd edition, where there's a chance where a resurrection spell will actually fail. There's ways to sell your soul for boons. There is suffocating and like being squeezed underwater. So if a kraken, for instance, has grappled you and has put you underwater, they should be able to squeeze you and make you exhale some of the breath out of your lungs, so you would drown faster. So there's, again, maybe 20 new variant rules that is included, and I hope you enjoy them. You can use them. It's all out there. The next chapter after that is spells. So I've come up with over 50, I think actually over 60 new spells. And with these spells, they go all the way between cantrips to 4th level spells. And I've even included spell lists for where the spells actually go to as far as classes. In addition with that, the list actually contains the school of magic that it belongs to also. So if it's necromancy or anything like that. So 60 new spells. I think it's actually 64 if I want to be exact. Then lastly is magic items. These magic items, there are 50 new ones, and I've taken influence from a lot of games that I've been running. I just finished up one with the Hack campaign with a bunch of my friends. Oh, I've got something in my eye. This sucks. Sorry, guys. With 50 new items, there's some of them that come from my custom games. One of them in particular is the Skull of Ruxus the Foul. It is a lich that I created with a long backstory with another one of my NPCs. And I will be releasing that campaign here shortly on DM's Guild also. But the Skull of Ruxus the Fell is a legendary item, and it goes into the backstory of Ruxus, which actually happens to be a human originally named Balasar who was a war mage. And if you do certain things with the skull, they will reward you with a wish. And these certain things happen to fall in line with Balasar Bash's backstory. So like destroying the Arcane Brotherhood because he was betrayed, or doing various little things. So the skull is actually sentient. It's not the real skull of Ruxus the Foul, but just a copy. So I thought that would be fun. And then also there is an old illusionist that I love and all my players love near and dear to their hearts, called Mind Artist. He's this mad, crazy illusionist. Actually used to be either lovers or best friend of Balasar Basha before he went evil. Unconfirmed what the actual relationship, friendship situation is. It's not canon or anything, it's just up to interpretation. But Mind Artist is a crazy illusionist who will talk to various fruit that is decaying, that he's like tied or glued together, and it's actually sentient. It will talk to him, but it won't talk to anyone else. So with that, there is a magical item where I think it's like Mind Artist. Mind Artist is adhesive of sentience, and so whenever you stick a few items together with this glue and it sets, the actual items come alive or become sentient and will talk to you. It's a really good roleplay. I suggest it. I will be re-releasing the Mind Artist's Mausoleum of Mirages on DM's Guild also. But all in all, that's it. Wanted to let you guys know that this guide is out there. It is for free on DM's Guild. I'm not expecting any payment, but as of right now, last time I checked, there was 768 downloads. So I'm actually really, really happy that it's gotten this far. It's taken 4 months in the process, like in the making, to actually have this come together the way it did, and I'm really happy. Right now I'm trying to get Nerdarchy to review it, along with Titan Bear Gaming, so we'll see how that goes. And lastly, I will be releasing one more document once this homebrew campaign is finished that I'm creating right now. That is going to take place after Storm King's Thunder, and it's going to have a bunch of elemental giants. Like I don't want to ruin anything because some of my players actually are subscribed to this channel, but it will take place quite some time after Storm King's Thunder, and it'll deal with the aftermath of that and going to a different continent, and I'm hoping to release this after my campaign is done. So that's something you can look forward to, but hopefully the Hag campaign with Balasar Basha / Ruxus the Foul will be released on DM's Guild, along with a revamped version of Mind Artist's Mausoleum of Mirages. So I wanted to say thank you all. If you're still watching, I applaud you. This is almost 19 minutes in, and it's just me rambling and driving, and it's probably hard to hear me and actually listen to what I'm saying due to the noise of the driving, but I do thank you from the bottom of my heart. And as always, I will see you guys later. Bye.